from just outside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where we fell on our face and Joe scored a brace.
I hate how wildly accurate and appropriate your opening puns have become. I can't even roll my eyes at them anymore because I'm too despondent to have any emotion about this.
Yeah, they're way too poignant. They're no longer fun and cheeky. They're just extremely.
God, this is so sad.
They're accurate and yeah. Like
if you have come here for fun and cheeky, you are in the wrong place. It is the 5 Takes podcast, and we are back.
We're
like the
not back.
Like the great.
We're fucking not back.
Like the Great British Bake Off, I guess. I know nothing. I know nothing about this show,
excited.
But I hear about it in our thread all the time, and I never know what you guys are talking about. You care to elaborate on? I think it has a pretty big following because I hear a lot of people talk about it, but I have no idea.
It absolutely does. But I want to preface this with one thing. I am not a cook. I am not not by any means. I married a chef's daughter who inherited most of his skills. What I do like is baking, and I'll tell you why. I'm a very scientific, mathematical type of a person. I'm an engineer by nature, right? That's the difference. Cooking and creating, it's all about creating something out of nothing, right? It's all about
how
what
apropos
flavors.
for this team.
No, so, it's all about different flavors and this is just going to end up working perfectly. It's going to be all about how things work together and what different flavors can kind of revolve around each other and how in the end you make this creation, right? But you also take a knowledge base, but you use that and you just say, I am going to take this and I'm going to tweak it and I'm going to make it mine, right? That's what cooking is. That's what, whatever. Baking, can be done similarly, but baking is a science. It's chemistry.
Kat, the taste of baking is all of that, like what you put into it. But you can't get a cake to rise without a specific combination of chemicals.
Literally, if you let me finish. That's what I was going to say. Baking is chemistry, right?
Yes.
It's science. If you don't get the ingredients right, if you do a cup of flour and when you're supposed to do a quarter cup of flour, your whole fucking recipe is going to be wrong and nothing is going to work the way you want it to. Okay. So that's what I love about baking. That's why I can take a recipe and I can read it and I can say, okay, this is how this is supposed to go.
That being said, how long do we let Garth cook?
It's true. Well, I think that's
the recipe called for a year and a half.
That's right. And I think
this bun has been in the oven.
Recipe.
This bun has been in the oven for a while.
Yeah, we're starting to go off recipe a little bit, and I think that's the problem. Is he's starting to improvise way too much. Garth, you had a chemistry. You had a formula.
Oh Lord.
He came in with his own formula, and now he's going off book. And pretty soon we're going to have an explosive bread baking, and we're going to bring it out, and then the whole fucking thing's going to collapse. And if you've ever baked bread, you know what that's
Apologies
like.
for
in the spirit of the Jewish holidays, there's a great Yiddish term for all of that. And Lashana Tova to all of y'all who are celebrating. May you have a very sweet and joyous new year. Anyway, there's a wonderful Yiddish term that's called shitterine. Right? In cooking. You ever heard the term shitterine? It's not my mother cooks.
I don't think so.
I'm just thinking about the shit in the front of that word.
It's a D, shitterine.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And it's all one word. It's not 3 words like shit, rine. It's shitterine, all one word. Anywho, but what it means is a little of this and a little of that. And you fuck with it and you fuck with it until it tastes right.
And that's cooking. And I get that.
I think that's what Garth is trying to do here. A little of this, a little of that. Only it tastes like ass that the raccoons would eat.
Our kitchen is a damn mess.
Yeah, there's way too many cooks or too few cooks.
I don't know. Do we have a cook? I think there's
they abandoned all the cooks. Yeah. The line chef got fired.
Yeah, it feels like we have
sous chef got fired. We are literally running on the dish brigade right now.
Yeah. We've got the front of house. The front of house has come in to take over on the line. The chef de cuisine retired. We've got the sous chef. The sous chef went to Newcastle and unfortunately has now left Newcastle.
That is really, really tragic what the news about Darren to get serious for a minute. I mean, I hope it comes out all right. I don't know specifically what blood cancer he's dealing with, but
Yeah, but
any
it's
I
any
had read it was
cancer
a type
is.
of chronic leukemia.
Oh
hmm,
gosh, man. I hope it's treatable. I hope it's
it's
manageable.
yeah,
I
but
know things didn't end like super well when he transitioned, but that doesn't diminish our love for the man, our appreciation for the man, and just
oh
on
yeah,
a
no,
human being
obviously,
level, like he's a good
all
man
joking
with a
aside, we
family.
would. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
God, I hope that it just ends well, because that would be, if it goes down the worst way, a monumental loss. That I just hope we don't have to deal with. Please God, and Jennifer is having a reaction to all the bullshit with this
I'm
team,
sneezing. I
with
apologize,
all
but
this
no,
team.
like nobody. You never want to see that about people you care about, and I think
Yep,
for all that we agree or disagree about decisions that Darren made, I
it's
think
different.
everybody in this town can agree he's a genuinely great
Yeah,
guy,
for sure.
and you don't want to. You just hate to hear
Yep.
hate to hear news like
Yeah,
this.
it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, and I mean, even if we heard that about anybody that was related to this club,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
past, we wouldn't want to feel that. Players, anybody, staff that's related to the club, anybody. You don't want to hear that. So yeah, that was tough news. But I think that's kind of, again, it's that's another person that was part of the recipe that did work
For a
in
time.
in for a time. Yeah, that's good. And he's no longer part of that
We
that
just
recipe anymore either. And we don't know, we don't even know how to bake
Yeah,
anymore.
it
We got
it felt
nothing.
like we
We
tried to
have fucking
keep
nothing.
cooking the same way, for
Yeah,
too
and maybe that's the
long,
problem.
and
Yeah. We didn't
we
adapt, we
just
didn't
we
learn.
just kept cooking breakfast when it was time to move on to lunch, and we really didn't, and now all of a
Yeah.
sudden I don't know what we're trying to cook.
I would
I don't
like
know.
to, before we get into
Sure.
not knowing what we're cooking,
Yeah.
I think this really needs a bit more recognition than I've seen it getting around
Okay.
general Atlanta United social media things. But in case you had not heard the news, Soccer Down Here, the Soccer Down Here SDH network, was nominated for for the Football Content Awards for the best media organization in 2024. Just to give you, and I mean, we talk, we talk a lot about, various and sundry different things, and a lot of people want to complain about the coverage levels, and certain reporters never, not necessarily, being like the last people to drop stories and whatnot. But I think we've really got to step up and recognize what an achievement like this means, because they're nominated against organizations like Amazon Prime Video, BBC Sport, the Golazo Network, Sky Sports, Talk Sport,
Mhm.
ESPN FC. I mean, you're talking about a grassroots
Truly
podcast network, literally a grassroots podcast
started
network
by
that is
two guys, by
two,
John and
that are
and
just,
Jason.
yeah, and Jason and
And
John
it's
Nelson.
expanded the amount of grassroots coverage they do as well. Not just covering this team, but soccer all
Right.
around the state, high school, the
College,
college, the
the
women's
W
lower
the
league. I mean, you name it. If soccer is being played in this state, it's being covered by Soccer Down Here, and Jason and John Nelson. And their whole crew that they've expanded to, they know about it, and they're
yeah,
covering it, and
Maddie,
that's not
Jarrett, like all
normal.
that
It's
that
not
whole,
regular. It doesn't happen.
no, and it's not something that any other region in the country has here.
Right.
I think it's a big deal. The finals are a fan vote, and Atlanta, y'all know how to stuff a ballot box.
That's true.
So you maybe should get over there to the footballcontentawards.com. It'll walk you through the process to vote for them. But y'all, seriously, snaps to our local media and the growth of the game. And again, everybody said, oh, soccer's never going to work in Atlanta.
It's it
It's
works.
working.
It
It's
has worked,
growing.
and it's a tragedy what this team has produced in terms of the product, because it doesn't it soccer down here, and the fans, and just what soccer has become in this state deserves more from the
Yeah.
first team to keep that going. And it is a barrier to that, because I mean, look, last night that stadium, 30,000 people, 32,000 people, 33,000 people, 34,000 people, 35,000 people, 36,000 people, 37,000 people, 38,000 people, 39,000 people, 40,000 people, 41,000 people, 42,000 people, 43,000 people, 44,000 people, 45,000 people, 46,000 people, 47,000 people, 48,000 people, 49,000 people, 50,000 people, 51,000 people, 52,000 people, 53,000 people, 54,000 people, 55,000 people, 56,000 people, 57,000 people, 58,000 people, 59,000 people, 60,000 people, 61,000 people, 62,000 people, 63,000 people, 64,000 people, 65,000 people, 66,000 people, 67,000 people, 68,000 people, 69,000 people, 70,000 people, 71,000 people, 72,000 people, 73,000 people, 74,000 people, 75,000 people, 76,0 That's the emptiest I've seen it, including Leagues Cup. And the fans are right. I get it. The product is not good at all. I mean, I've never heard Mike Conti say, you know what, guys? We can analyze, we can scrutinize, and we can break this thing down. At the end of the day, this team's just not very good. And that's the truth.
And it's just a
bad team.
That's the really tragic part. That's the other thing that I mentioned. That's the other thing that I was talking about today with my wife, who admittedly not very involved. Obviously, sure. She's involved because I'm involved, but that's about it. She likes baseball. We've talked about that, right? So I have to try and equate it to a baseball in the similar sense that, like, the Braves, right? The Braves are a good team. They have bad seasons. They have bad stretches. They have bad games, obviously. Sometimes you'll have even bad players that can be replaced. It's a lot easier in baseball. Yeah, but foundationally, the Braves are a very good team. Historically, yes. Now, granted, there's almost 100 years. That
look, you play that long, it's not going to be perfect all the time. But on average,
my point is, I was sort of right. I was kind of saying that, like, look, you're not going to win them all. No. Right? 162 games in a baseball season, you're not going to win them all, obviously, but you can still play well and still lose. We Atlanta United used to be capable of that. Yes. We would play really up to well a standard, and still
a certain standard.
But we would play really, really well because we had a good team, we had good depth, we had good coaching,
we had good leaders,
we had a good front office that was willing to support everything that went into this team. We were a good squad that just didn't always win, and that is the right kind of foundation that you need to have. And we had that. We do not have that now. We are a bad team with a bad front office, with a bad foundation. We don't have a coach. We don't have a direction. We are bad. We have become everything that we tried not to be.
We're in a really precarious position for me right now where it is going to hinge on one man. Seriously. Mm-hmm. This is Garth's team now. It is his baby. This is
Garth's team. Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure to put on one guy, especially when this guy historically has, and he's leveled with us when he got here from day one, saying, I move a little bit slower than some people like. Okay, but at the same time, he's also recognizing the urgency of now and where this team is at. And that doesn't really jive with his personality. And look, so
he also has never had to deal, I don't think he's ever had to deal with a market or a fan base that functions in the way that Atlanta does.
Correct. This level of expectation, even at Seattle.
All due respect to Seattle, right? Seattle is not a fickle sports town, right?
It's not like this.
Seattle, the culture there is just different. Real Salt Lake, there's nothing else to do there. So you're not necessarily...
And he's walking into a franchise that was one of the best sport launches in history that has now fallen. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I don't envy him. No. Again, I also think that ultimately, and I think everybody said this on the post-game stuff last year, and this includes Rob Valentino. It's on the players failing. Let's call a spade a spade. This has nothing to do, you can say, the roster as is right now, they're not talented enough. Okay.
No, they're not.
The roster we had at the beginning of the season was talented enough to win this league. Maybe. And everybody freaking knew it. Okay. And you weren't going to survive the loss of Gigi, Tiago, and Caleb, right? But you could have survived the loss of one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe, as long as there was a plan to move on from that player with
a lot of them came by surprise and weren't planned. Certainly,
right,
Gigi
and we know
and
that.
Caleb.
But that's what I'm saying is that everything. You look back at where we were in March compared to where we are now. We are fucking worlds apart. Worlds apart.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing, and I told you that I was angry last night and I was thinking about stuff as I was going to bed. I think this is something that I want to really, really stress because this is what actually gave me a little sense of peace right before I fell asleep, honestly.
Yeah.
Everything that we knew and this is gonna sound really morose and really, really depressing. Everything that we had is dead.
It feels like that.
Okay. Everything that we once had is gone. Okay. What I mean is, think about everything that we just talked about. We don't have a direction. We don't even know what the foundation is.
Yeah.
We don't have the coach. We don't have the front office.
We have no clue or indication where it's going.
We have no idea where we're going. We don't have a plan. Garth says he has one. What is it? He's not saying. That's what I'm saying. Well, everything that we had in 18 and even 19, if you want to call it that, because we were still winning then, everything we had is dead.
Well, he has said what the plan is. The plan is...
So we have to start over, and we haven't. I don't think we've done that quite enough.
That's what he's doing. That is his plan, and that's what he's.
I literally give him good roster moves and a total revamp, new coach, new players, new front office staff, everything starting in 2025, or I want him gone.
Well, yeah, that's what he's doing. I just can't do it until the end of the season.
My concern here is that if he does not get this offseason right,
that's it.
That's what I mean. Right? He's gone. I want him gone now. He had his chance. I want him gone.
You all know how much Uncle Arthur likes to hold on to people for far too long, right? And he really doesn't answer to anybody other than Uncle Arthur, right?
True.
Like, I mean, there's some AMBSE over, whatever, but for the most part, at his level, it's Uncle Arthur making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Arthur held on to Dimitrov how long? Uncle Arthur held on to Matt Smith how long?
Matt Smith.
Uncle Arthur held on to Pat Quinn or Dan Quinn how long?
Yeah. No, right? I know that.
Like, I'm really concerned that if we don't see, if we go into the preseason with no hope at all, where we are, in a similar mind frame to where and I don't think hiring Patrick Vieira fixes that, and I don't think hiring Chris Henderson fixes that.
No, it doesn't. And the most concerning thing is right now is it's hard to envision a rebuild, because in MLS we can talk about wipe, slate clean and all this stuff. We're not going to do that and get rid of absolutely everybody and rebuild from day one. That's not going to happen. I don't see any players, coach, staff to kind of build around right now. That strong leadership, vocal, playing for the badge, and is not just a kid, right? Because the kids have played harder than anyone this season, but you don't build around a Johnny Fortune. You don't build around Noah Cobb. I don't see what we coalesce around right now. And not having that, and also simultaneously not having the ability to just rebuild from scratch is I think that's where I think Kat is feeling is okay, so what do we do here? What is the hope going forward? Because we kind of do need a rebuild. We can't.
Well, let's do the run through.
Okay.
Who stays, who goes? I got the roster up. Who stays, who goes?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Go. Good place to start. Why not?
All right, sure. There are takes to get to, but I don't even know if we'll really get to them because, like I said in the first one, if we removed names, players, and dates, these takes could be about virtually any other game this season. So yeah, let's run it through.
Ooh, but hey, you know what we should do before we go through the roster and kick people out of town?
Sure.
We should thank Mason Mill.
Yeah, we can do that. And actually,
give them their due. We've been putting them at the end, and that ain't right. They've
got a 30th. Mason Mill's got a 30th anniversary coming up.
Who has been consistent? And
over 30 years.
There for
over
us.
30 years. November 8th, they're holding a little party. They've done some remodeling work in the office. Ooh. They got a new room that they're working on. It's pretty cool. And that's going to be on, I think November 8th is a Friday. So I probably won't be able to go.
That's correct. I know because it's the same day as my college orientation that I have to attend.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe you could swing by afterwards, food and drink and good times.
It's on the docket for the day.
Okay,
it's on
cool.
the docket for sure.
Everybody get out there. If you're already a patient or you want to become a new patient, hey, go check it out for a party the first time. Great chiropractor, man. Who else throws parties? They throw parties all the time. Chili cook-offs.
That's true.
It's a
and
good
chili
place.
cook-offs.
Yeah, it's a good place. Yeah. It's a good place. Not only to get adjusted, but to go get chili and drinks. Good people. give them a call at 404-321-0082 or on the web at masonmillcairo.com. I was there yesterday. I snuck in since I'm working nights. I just said, F it, called them day of, and they got me in and adjusted, and I feel a little bit better. They will do that for you too. They're really good about working with your schedule, and where most providers, especially doctors, are like, yeah, so maybe next month I can see you. These guys will just do everything they can to work with you, and last minute changes, additions. They're great about that. Just won't find anyone better.
And why is that? Because they care about your care.
Yes,
They
care about your care.
bad.
They care more than this team does. I promise you that much. All right, go check them out. They're in Decatur, Georgia. They are open Tuesdays through Saturdays. Alrighty, so like I said, these takes could be about any game. So yeah, F it. Let's quickly run through players. Now, how do you want me to answer these? In a realistic way, like, yeah, we can move on from them or not, or in a fantasy, like if I could just bend
realistic,
the
who
rules.
stays, who goes.
Okay.
Realistic,
Realism.
who stays,
Realism.
who goes.
All right, go ahead.
And we're gonna do this quick.
Yep.
You get like
Right, and-
2 lines of
Sure.
this is
Come
why.
on.
Okay.
Right. And I think it also, too, you're taking into consideration the fact that we've got a lot of money to play with, and we are undoubtedly going to have new faces coming in
Yep.
in the offseason. So
All right.
we can be a little bit critical.
Yeah, this is
I think.
regardless of contract status too,
Sure,
guys.
no,
Like,
oh,
I'm not
yeah,
even
no.
Understood.
dealing with the
Understood.
money,
Knock
crazy
out
cap
contracts.
All
if
right,
they can at
start
this
it
point.
off.
Yeah.
Kat,
All
you
right,
go
you said-
first. Jennifer, read names. I'll go second, and you can go third.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Goose.
Yeah, stay. Offer him the contract. Even if we bring in another keeper, which I don't think we will, because Cohen's going to be the guy. Give him another chance, because I honestly think, yeah, well, like we said, we called it the Goose-a-sance. This was, I give him another chance. Give him another year until he proves he can't do it. Let him stay.
Exercise the option. Build the statue.
There you go.
100% Guzana-sans. I'm here for it.
Next.
We got to have some heart.
I think the hands
He's
on the
the only.
hips.
He's one of the very, very few senior roster players that plays with any
plays
kind of
with
love
heart.
for the badge.
All right,
we
next.
need that.
100%.
Ronald Hernandez.
I say keep him if we have a spot for him and if the contract is right.
Keep him.
I don't know. I think he's expendable.
He's expendable.
He's a character guy, but
character guy, and that is what this club is lacking.
Yeah, I like his attitude,
fair.
and he's young.
Keep him
so
for that.
he's not young.
And when he's had limited
not young?
minutes, he's done well.
Oh.
Next.
yeah.
I think of him as like 23, 24.
No,
That's not
he's
young.
like 30.
Fuck.
He's been here
really?
for 5. He's been here
a
for
long
6
time.
years.
Been here a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep him.
That's okay.
Sometimes
All right.
I forget.
Derek Williams.
Keep.
Derek Williams.
Sorry, I cut in
Keep him.
front of you.
No, keep him. I think he's been one of the shining examples of defense. Does he make mistakes? Yes, but so does Virgil van Dijk. So
Keep.
and he's the best.
I think he's a good affordable pickup who I think another season of him, given where Cobb and Morales are developmentally, I think would not be a bad thing.
Yep. Keep him.
he's a good
right.
he's a good person for them to learn from.
Luis Abram.
Ooh. He's a good depth player. If the price is right, I say keep him. If not, if we can get anything for him, we could move him, but I think he's a good depth player. I don't have any problem with Abram.
I can go either way. 50-50.
Yeah.
Move in, play the kids.
Okay.
Give those
Morales,
minutes to Morales, give those minutes to Cobb.
Right. So that's
Move
what
him.
I'm saying. If it doesn't cost anything to keep him, but
He's expensive.
whatever.
He's
Is
expensive.
he? Okay, well
Yeah.
then move him on.
Yeah, for that reason, probably move on.
Yeah.
If we can,
Okay.
and you can find the home. All right, next.
Yeah. All right. Stian.
Keep him. I want to see him. I want to see a full season of him healthy.
Keep.
Even at a DP at the DP TAM level that he is, you feel like he's worth the investment?
Keep.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a defender.
Keep.
I do. I think his height and his aggressiveness. Unfortunately, I'd like him to reel it in because he gets a lot of yellows. But so did LGP.
I have one shot glory Air Force One concerns about him.
Maybe.
Like
We'll
that,
see.
like that's.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's as good as he was advertised, and it's
maybe-
a lot
and
of.
maybe
And I'm not sold. I'm not sold.
All right.
Mhm. That's why
I think-
I'd like to see a full season of him healthy.
All right, next.
Schleich, Bartosz Schleich.
Fuck. How expensive is he?
He's currently one of our DPs for cap structure purposes. He would be a TAM level player.
Fantasy world, move on. We can't. He'll stay.
Yeah, he's actually currently the player signed to the longest contract we have right
he's
now.
not going anywhere,
really?
but I'm not.
No, he's not going
I'm not a
anywhere.
fan.
I haven't been as impressed with him as I was hoping, and I don't. I'm what the other thing that's also starting to make me doubt him is actually the at least from what I can visually see and what I observe, I don't like his attitude. I think he plays with a little bit too much of a chip on his shoulder to him to not of his
understand.
own, because I don't see him shaking his head like, oh man, I just fucked up. I see him shaking his head at everyone else.
I think that's a really good point, that I don't know that he's transitioned to this league and the style of play in this league as well as one would have hoped.
Well,
Right? I think his style of play is better suited for other leagues based on the sample size that I've finally seen now.
Is it weird to say that I feel like he's too European in that way?
No, I don't. I actually that's
No.
kind of what I'm saying.
I don't think he likes it here. I don't think he likes us. I don't think he likes the city. So if we could, and I haven't seen the numbers. Okay, I will say this: the guy travels. He makes, but so what?
Okay. All right.
So keep him.
We got a ton to get
If we
through.
could move him on, I'd be fine.
Next.
Tristan Miumba.
Move on.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, if at all possible. Yep.
We're all in agreement.
As quickly as possible. Saba time. No, you got to keep him.
Yeah.
Got to keep him. He has the potential. You stack him up with some other players that are close to his fucking skill level. Holy shit! Did you see that that what should have been a sitter hit the fucking bar? God, he's got some fucking power. That should have gone in.
Yeah.
God damn it! But I think you set him up with some players that are at his skill level, and I think he could really be a great. So I say keep him.
Yeah, he's 100%. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Brooks Lennon.
Move.
Bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Dax is retiring, so he doesn't count.
But with Brooks, find a place that suits you, brother.
Yeah.
Miss you, love you.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Jean Day.
Goodbye. If possible, if we can move him on.
If we can move him,
hasn't worked. Not healthy.
It's not the right fit.
Pedro Amador.
Keep 100%. Best signing of the season.
100%. Great signing. Mm-hmm.
All right, here's where it's going to start getting complicated. Danny Rios.
I want to keep. I'm going to let you skip ahead. I want to keep both. If it's not expensive, I don't know. Are either Rios or TRA taking up a DP
TRA
spot?
is more money than Danny.
But are either of them taking up a DP spot?
No.
They're
backup strikers. They were signed. They were.
Then I want to keep. Then I keep them both. If the money is right, keep them both. They have performed
so let's take care of,
as a backup striker.
Let's take care of two there. Keep Rios. Move on from TRA because of the money and the value.
Well, in that case, then I agree.
If you can.
I do. If I had to pick one or the other, I pick Rios.
Right. See, and I pick TRA because I think that TRA just bring. I mean, I don't love the money on it, but we're not. I don't think money is not going to be an issue for us next year.
Yeah.
Not with the way that we work the Caleb Wiley deal and stuff like that. So, like, again, when I'm not looking at the money, if I'm choosing one of them, I'm choosing TRA.
Okay.
It's very interesting. They both bring something very, very different.
Yeah. I think if you're talking about a backup striker who's going to come in and for 20 minutes and cause chaos, I think that's TRA's game way more than it's Danny Rios's.
And in that regard, actually, I agree more with Jennifer, because you're right. Rios is the starter for the consistency and the longevity of the game, and then TRA is the bring in of the difference maker in the 75th minute.
That guy.
So you're right. If we're keeping it, if we're thinking in terms of that, maybe TRA is a better fit. But it depends on who we get as the starting striker.
Yeah, it does depend on that. But there's a good argument either way. Who you got next?
Sure.
Edwin Mascara.
Bye.
Appreciate what he can do for 20 minutes, but it's not enough, and I think it's time.
I'd rather bring in a full 90 left winger for both Mascara and Jean.
See, that's another position that depends on what we do with the left wing. Kind of dictates what we would do with a player like Edwin. All right, who's next?
100%.
Efren Morales, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
Nah, he's fine.
Let him get some more minutes next year. He's done really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another interesting one. Yeah. Josh Cohen.
Move on if possible.
Yeah, I don't think we need him right now. I think that we can.
I don't think he'll be the guy to assume the mantle. I just don't.
No, I don't either.
So.
I think the best thing is what we said at the beginning. Keep Guzan, exercise the option, and try someone else.
We won't move on from Cohen, but if possible, I would like to. Who's next?
Aiden Torres, and I think he's already gone. Or he's on.
Okay.
He's out on loan. I don't think
so.
we're keeping him. So yeah, non-entity.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Noah Cobb is not going anywhere.
Nope.
We're not even going to talk about him. Luke Brennan.
Stay. Kid, great.
Yeah.
Development track, keep developing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's he's got great potential.
No issues there.
Get him some minutes. Yeah, get him some minutes.
This one's more fun. Tyler Wolf.
Oh.
It's time to move on from Tyler.
Shit. Okay.
If possible.
Here's the thing about
he needs it's time for him as well.
It is possible.
His
homegrown deal is up at the end of the season.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to see first team minutes. He would have already, and he hasn't seen a lot. So
yeah, I think it's time. I think he has the skills to move to Europe in a similar, not quite in the similar way that Caleb did, but
No.
I think he could go. I think he could do it.
I think he'll stay within MLS. Same thing with Firmino. I think they're in the same basket. He's not going to.
Firmino was next on the list, and I think we move on from him too.
Yeah, he's not going to get the
sure.
first team minutes. I thought he was going to get more. He did. He hasn't.
I actually wasn't even.
Here's the interesting thing about that.
I wasn't blown away by Firmino either.
No, well, here's the interesting thing about that is that I think, at the beginning of the season, Firmino was way ahead of Jay Fortune on the depth chart at midfield, and the expectation was for me when Thiago got sold, Firmino was going to step in and take that over, and Firmino has absolutely done nothing.
Yep.
And guess who stepped up to the plate?
Well, he hasn't gotten the minutes either, so we're not seeing training or what's going on there. But Jay has earned it, and I don't know if Jay's next up on the list. That's a stay.
I think they're two different players.
Well, we'll just go straight to Jay because we're not renewing Quentin Westberg, and I guess no knocks on him, but knock on wood, we haven't needed it to go 4 goalies deep. We needed to go 12 center backs deep this season.
Yeah.
Next season it's probably going to be right wing. I have no idea because there's always one position where we're going deep, I don't know. Anyway. So we're keeping Jay. Matt Edwards, who up and coming defender, he's homegrown and
that's.
I think I saw him play a couple of minutes. He seemed like he's got some potential. Don't know enough about him to say, so I guess stay.
Sure.
And then you got Moranchuk.
I like what Glenn said. I like what Glenn said in. I know, but hold on, man. I like what you said about him in the takes last night. I think. Look, he's
getting his foot on the ball, but he just doesn't have the players to expose his qualities.
So that's what I'm saying is that we have too small of a sample size to really see what he's going to do. He is not the one that brought us back, baby. But what are we basing that on anymore? Yeah. So
look,
he's going to stay. So let's see how he fits in with the new Atlanta United 2025.
My concern with Alexey isn't so much about the person as the position, because that position has always been the leader, the guy,
That's
the
true.
game breaker, I will put this team on my back if I have to at times.
Right.
He is not that guy. He is not going to be that guy. And that doesn't mean that this guy can't still be very important for us, but it's highly dependent on every other guy around him. And if that isn't nailed, he could essentially be kind of $15 million dead weight.
Cast into nothing. So here's what we need. If we're not going to use, if he's not going to be the guy at number 10, if he's not the number 10, we're going to need a number 9. We're going to need a roaming number 9 that takes over the midfield, right? Essentially what Thiago was when we had.
It could even play the false 9 role. Like Firmino was, we were thinking we might see that more of it.
But Firmino wouldn't have been the guy. So that's what I'm saying is if we're going to do that, if Moranchuk is going to be the Nagby or even that kind of
facilitator,
right? And we have to have the flashy number 9, the roaming 9, so that we can have that front, but still have something flashy, something that
the guy that's running around out there that says, "All right, boys, follow my lead."
Right, here we go.
And he's not that guy.
So Alexey could be. He could be something. I don't think he could
be that sort of, if you're a D&D player out there, a stat buffer that just makes the party a bit stronger. but he's not the leader of it. He's just not the guy to get out in front.
But like you said, we have $15 million that says we're going to play him next year.
Yeah,
so they better figure out how he works. And I'm the only thing I can figure.
I go back to what we say, what we saw what we've seen over the last few matches. In that he is building some chemistry with Saba, and that is going to be critical going forward. And
that's the only one that matters.
Correct.
Right now.
At this point in time, that's the only forward player that matters.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's the only one he needs to be making a relationship with. So we're just going to have to see.
All right.
But like you said, we are $15 million deep into him.
Yeah.
So and we're going to find out.
Again, I go back to this whole enigma of who the hell are we, right? Because
we don't know.
And you shared that the Men in Blazers episode where they were talking.
Listen, please, everybody, I implore you, I beg you, take 45 minutes of your day, search that out on the Men in Blazers feed with Mark Ashton, CEO of Ipswich Town, and just listen to the man speak about how to build culture, how to get everybody at a club on side, moving in the same direction, how every little detail matters. Day one, he went in and started cleaning pots and pans in the kitchen because it was a mess. Like, get everybody from the cook staff to the players to the groundskeeper. Like, it all matters. All of it matters, and everybody in unison. We don't have that right now, and it's badly needed, and it matters. All these things matter. Go listen to it, and once you're done listening to that, you'll go, that's it. That's what we need here, and God willing, Garth brings that about and just kind of lays down the law for anybody that's staying at this club or comes to this club. This is the standard. This is what we do. This is how we're going to do it. If you're not good with that, this is not your club. This is not where you should be. And just go listen to it. It's brilliant.
Is that particular coach available by chance?
Oh, he's not a coach. He's CEO.
He's a CEO.
CEO. I'm saying he has led this. Look what Ipswich has done. Promotion, and now they're up and they're fighting for their Premier League lives. But just the way he speaks,
they tied Man City.
He said a great couple words: relentless obsession. Relentless obsession. They wake up and think about football. They think about football when they're going to the bathroom, when they're eating. Like, it's just a passion. It means more. Right now, it doesn't feel. Rob said this last night, post-game conference.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, guys, our jobs are on the line. And from me, what I saw, it didn't look like anybody's job was on the line. It needs to feel like that. It doesn't. Go listen to that episode.
I want to talk about that for one second, because when you listen to the post-game show as well, and when Mike and Jason got on, and I am very inclined, Mike and Jason are the biggest homers out there. Love them for it, right? Like, and again, we're literally so lucky to have like the best broadcast crew in the entire league, bar none, far and away. Mike was saying how Mike had said that he didn't think any of what went on this season was really on the technical staff.
I don't agree with that.
And I again, I feel like,
it's on everybody.
Did Pineda Ball work per se? No. But I think what Jason then said after that is you got to look, you look at the stats, you look at the XG for the season and how horribly we are underperforming.
That's technical ability.
On that. That's not plays that were written. We got ourselves to the area.
I'm just good put the ball in it.
Finish. And then we overperformed our expected goals against by 10 goals. Yeah. So the defense is overperforming and the offense is underperforming. So how is that, which is all literally the differential is what actually happens on the pitch? How is that on the technical staff? How is that on Rob?
It's a good point.
He has to sit there at every press conference and do his damnedest not to throw 3/4 of this squad under the bus to the media, because Lord knows he wants to at this point. Lord knows Brad does too.
Yeah, and we've said that quite a few times. Yeah. We have said that quite a few times on this podcast, that at the end of the day, the players have to play.
Right.
The players if the player himself is not good or even having a bad day, but look, you can't have 15 bad games. It means you're bad. Sorry. Yeah. You can't have not Brad, but as a keeper, you can't let in 50 goals in a season. It means you're bad. It means you didn't have a bad game. It doesn't mean the technical staff was bad. It doesn't mean that you didn't like the chicken served in the front office. It doesn't mean that you didn't like wearing a suit getting off of the bus. It means you're not good at your job. It means you're bad. You're playing bad, or you just, you know what I mean? Like the skill is not there. So that you could take all of this stuff that we talk about, but at the end of the day, it is on the players.
Yes.
You have to execute. You have to go out there and play to the best of your ability. And I think one of the most perfect examples of that is like Tristan. I don't think that he is good enough to play on this team. And I watched Mascara make a run last night, a perfectly developing run. We had somebody, Rios was going up the middle. Mascara had a perfect breakaway on the far left. I'm telling you, this was a developing play that could have really, really led to something. And Mayumba saw it, and he had the vision enough to try and get the ball to him. He didn't miss. Okay. He doesn't have the leg or the accuracy to get the ball to the left, to the far left wing where he needed to get it to. He actually sent it to the central defender. He sent it to the center back. And it's like,
but you know what?
I'm like, bro, you don't have it.
But you know what?
And you know just what? Don't have
but
it.
Here's the very strange thing.
Get him off the pitch.
Here's the strange thing about Muyumba and Jonde. They had it last year.
No,
they
I don't
did.
know. I don't know.
But last year when they came in, I mean, Felipe Cardenas was tweeting about Muyumba. Finally, Atlanta United got the 6/8. They needed. He was performing at a level. So was Jonde. Like next level, no. But MLS level, certainly he was.
Sure.
And it has just absolutely fallen off a cliff. Now, was that just a mirage? Has something else happened? I don't know. But I do want to recognize that we did see a little bit of it. Where it went, I don't know.
I think you have two issues with that, right? Is when they were playing so well last year, you also had a, front three of Thiago and Gigi and Saba, right? So you got a lot of distraction that opened. So those three players raised the level on the pitch, but they also opened up space and allowed them room for mistakes.
Is Thiago papering over a lot of that? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Okay.
But, I mean, you talk about the room for mistakes. I saw 3 more Mayumba mistakes last night that very easily could have led to goals.
He needs to go.
Here's the thing about that, right? Like, and maybe now I'm finally just starting to wrap my brain around the Messi phenomenon, right? People talk about like why is Messi the greatest player in the game? Because when he touches the ball, it really doesn't matter. Right. And when a lot of people were making the comparisons of, Thiago coming up and where he is with the Argentinian national squad and the way Messi has recognized Thiago playing, I think maybe a lot of us kind of overlooked just how much coverage he drew and how many mistakes we made that his presence covered up.
Maybe, but y'all, we weren't doing all that much better with Thiago. He's a better player. He's an excellent player. We weren't doing that much better.
I don't know.
We needed a lot more Thiago.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
We really
I just, ultimately we just need more passion. We need more passion. We need more energy.
Yes.
And both Travis Pegram and Tim Steimer in the comments this week, they both called it out. Tim Steimer actually said, I ate my dinner with more passion than this team showed in the first 30. This is a team playing for their lives. And like Rob said, playing for jobs.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Well,
and I think that therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Therein lies the problem is that if your whole livelihood is on the line and that's what you come out with, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't seem to be. They're not playing like players who are about to get cut.
No.
They're not. They're playing like players who were like, fuck it, I really don't care. And that's what I was going to say. And I said that to Glenn. I said that to both of y'all last night. I said, look, maybe I'll care next year, but right now, I just don't care. They're not giving me a reason to. They are not playing with anything. Like no passion. Like you said, that's a good one. But they're playing with more apathy than they're playing with anything else. If they were playing as players that were about to lose their job, like I think about like Brooks in particular, maybe, or maybe not Bayumba because I don't know, we don't have as much history with him. But with Brooks, if Brooks knew that he was about to get moved on and he might go to a club where he doesn't get as much money, you think he'd be playing a little bit harder. Because to quote one of my favorite baseball movies, what's the going rate for a pitcher who can't get anybody out?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the going rate for a middle-aged pitcher who can't strike anybody out?
The kids have...
And then all of a sudden, that pitcher started shutting people down.
The kids have played more like their jobs are on their line, and they're probably not.
They are, because their careers do.
Right, because
they could start and spawn.
But I'm just saying, in terms of like playing like that, the kids have shown more of that than the ones who,
it's a different mentality.
Should be.
It's a different mentality. It's what we've been harping on since the beginning.
Tortured Sabatime fan said on Twitter that that
nice handle.
Rob should have swapped out players for all the young kids as much as possible who always show heart. But
I don't disagree with that.
They're right now the only people on the squad with anything to prove anymore, because clearly all of the senior roster players could give a shit.
But also that's hard to do in MLS because you can't just move players up and down.
No, I know that. But don't reward.
Well, no, but you've got Luke Brennan, you've got Morales, you've got Noah Cobb, you've got Jay Fortune, you've got Tyler Wolf. You know what, Tyler? You want to stay here next year? Go out there and do something.
Bring Firmino in.
So that's what I'm saying. I agree with the Sabatime guy, because don't reward bad behavior. Reward good behavior, right? So if all of the kids are the ones that are going out there playing with all the heart because they are playing for the rest of their careers, put them out in the field. We said that 5 months ago. Take all of the starters off the pitch because they're going to get paid either way. And we're not going to get any better performances clearly out of them. So especially now for this last match that we have coming up, take them all off. Let the kids have their due because they deserve it. And the other guys don't.
Anything else?
Make me care.
Anything else we want to rant about?
Make me give a shit. Because right now I don't.
You want to talk about Josef for a minute?
We did.
Oh, Josef Martinez.
Just his 2 goals real quickly. Vintage Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Happy to see him not celebrate.
Classic.
But he seems to be getting in form. Back-to-back braces now.
Yep. I think he's a lot happier, honestly, in Montreal than he was in Miami. And if you look at the last time,
I don't know that he's happy. No, I wouldn't say
the summer was very rough for Joe. It's only recently come a little bit better.
I don't think he's happy in Montreal at all, because if you look on any of his socials, like literally all of his socials are, I love Atlanta, I miss being home.
I said happier. I didn't necessarily mean perfectly happy.
I think when you say happier, I think he's more reconciled to the type of role and where he's going to have.
Why do you think that reconciliation that he's feeling, like this acceptance, if you will, of who he is?
That's what I'm saying. He's accepted where he is.
But I'm wondering, Jennifer has a thought on this that she was stirring the hornet's nest a little bit on. Of now that Joe has sort of made peace with himself and where he's at in his career, would that lend itself to him returning to the club? And you think maybe?
I don't think it's the worst idea. I see Kat's eyes getting big like saucers.
No, but go ahead. What you have a decent sell us on it. Go ahead.
You have the floor.
I want to hear it.
I want to know this part first because I didn't read this. I want to know from your mouth.
I think you have to look at it from the perspective of the shape we were in 2019 when Josef came in here and took the starting gig away from Tito, right? So to have someone with the energy, heart, passion, who bleeds for the crest, being okay with Joe, being the super sub and coming in here for the energy burst when this club is screaming for identity and character. There is no greater identity and character for this badge and this town than one Josef Martinez. And if you could find a way to make the money work and he's okay not being the starting striker and being the super sub that he would be, I don't see how you don't try to make that happen, because this team needs a shot in the arm for multiple reasons. Getting Josef back is not going to fix all of this team's problems, and I'm not pinning that or putting that on him, right? But this club has to sell tickets. This club, the building needs energy back. And the only way to do that, outside of going out and getting, somebody on the level of a Kylian Mbappe as your number 9, that ain't going to happen, right?
Right.
I don't know where the hell they're going to find another guy like Gigi, but that is not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And we would be lucky, maybe, given the way things are, if by some miracle this team is like above 500 and actually winning matches at home come May, we might start getting a semblance back of what we had, like, in terms of, playoff energy building bends. You bring Josef home, and let me tell you, there are plenty of people out here that would show up for Josef, because Josef shows up for us.
Right.
And that
Okay.
was on display in everything that he did yesterday.
Right. Okay. Do you want my opinion on this?
Yeah, go ahead. And then
You
I have
want-
I have a little pushback on it too. But go ahead.
Right. It's not pushback. Okay.
Pushback's the wrong
right.
word. A
This
question.
is right. Okay. So I have concerns with that. Here's the okay. It's a tale of two sides for me. Okay. It's almost just one half of my body and soul to the other half. Okay. My brain versus my soul. Okay. My soul says, yeah, I would love to have him back. This is where he belongs in some sense. Okay. I feel that. He was like this troubled soul that needed to go and find where he belonged again in this world. Like he had, when he went down, when he got injured, part of him never came back, and he needed to go and find that again. And he was never the same. You talk to anybody who's been a fan since the beginning, and they know that after that, he was just never the same. And I think that he started watching him go to Miami and then watching him go to Montreal. He has regained a sense of what made him as a player and as a person. You can see it in the way that he carries himself versus the way he carried himself the last times that he was here with us. And even those first couple of games in Miami, God, he was angry. He was playing with so much angst, and just, you could see he was just a little bit troubled, and he was just trying to regain who he was as a player. And I'm kind of circling that a little bit here, but it's true. I saw a much quieter soul last night, and it was nice. It was a pity that it was for the other team, but he seemed at peace a little bit. Okay. I love that. If we could have that back, and everything that you just said, if the money was right and he was willing to be here and have the role that we were willing to give him, that part of me opens him with open arms. Absolutely. Now, my brain, on the other hand, says that it's a slippery slope, and it could be potentially dangerous as a club when we've said, okay, we are moving on from this player, this franchise man that we had, because Atlanta loves a franchise man. I always say that, because they do. But when you decide you're done, you have to be willing to make a clean break. And I think that it could be potentially dangerous of sort of going backwards. But the moving on hasn't been good so far. So it's a tough time to try and make that kind of decision. If 2 more seasons were to go by and Josef is kind of waning on his career and they wanted to bring him back here to finish out his career, I can never say no to that. Ever would I say no. Please come back for that reason. Could we really use him as a weapon, as moving forward as this club? I just don't know. And I think that there are definitely some difficult nuances to bringing Josef back. It's not, you can't just do that with your heart. You have to really think about what doing that with your head would mean. So I'm on both sides of that. Glenn, what's your opinion?
I think everything you've said is correct. A couple of things about him at Miami. When he went to Miami, Miami was a bad team.
Yep.
Sure.
And then the world's greatest player and his friends came, and he got better and had a better time.
That's right.
So there's that. Montreal did not go well until recently.
Okay.
Wasn't even sure he was going to make it the rest of the year. Something has happened. They've had it out with players and staff and coaches, and he's in good form. So
yeah, I wasn't even sure he was going to start.
Josef, we see right now back at this club. Sure, if that was going to be his, if he's going to bring that form. But I think if we're being honest with ourselves, why would we want Josef back here? It's not for his ability really to put the ball in the net. Be very nice. We need that.
No.
It's this. It's the heart. That's why we need it. And those things do matter. Now, how much they matter and how much resources
how much does
you assign to that, how much value you place on mentality and heart. For me, it's a lot. But I realize the limitations of MLS, and you can't just pay millions or even hundreds of thousands
to sit on
for heart and mentality. Like, you need numbers, you need goals, you need assists.
We're just in such
I could see
place.
it working. I think it's a risk because, Lord have mercy, if it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's a risk assessment. Does the potential risk of Josef not working out justify the reward of it coming off really well, and he being the rally point guy again?
God, I hate to say it. I hate to say
it. Soon, right? Is it too soon?
No. I don't know that it's too soon, but I hate to say like, and when we talk about a number 9, like, to quote Taylor Twellman, please don't.
He makes good points.
Okay, it happens every now and then. Nothing matters anymore.
We need a villain. We need a villain in the worst. Like that's the thing. And I think if we had, and I have no doubt that. I really don't have a lot of doubt that Garth and whoever else he's bringing in here understand that's what we need in the number 9 here, like, for this city to bring what this city is capable of bringing. That is what it has to be. Josef still has shades of that in him, right? And the way I envision this is you're bringing Josef back at this stage in his career, because he's gonna be 32, 33 next year, 33, I think, something like that.
Close. Early 30s.
He's in that,
early 30s.
Yeah, he's in his early 30s. So you're bringing Josef back here not to be that villain anymore, but to be Larry, to be Dax, to be what Ozzy Alonso was supposed to be for this club. That's
that. Having a kid changes you too, and that's got to factor into the person he is today. It changes you.
It does, and that's why I feel like it could work.
Yeah, okay? He's not 24 anymore.
He's not the same swagger, all for himself kind of guy. I think he understands what we like to call business reality.
Yeah, I think he really found some zen.
He really did. But like, to see his post, to like know that he was out there at warm-ups blowing kisses to Harper, and
he's doing a lot
hugging,
of these.
and he's hugging safe guys. And Angel is yelling at him saying, "Josef, come home!" And Josef says, "I wish." This is what tells me, like, this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of move the club needs to make to give us something.
All right.
Because right now, we got nothing. Give us something.
Is it, in reality, is this even on the radar?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm just some fan who likes to talk about soccer.
It aligns in the way of the cap space, the money, the flexibility that the club will have, and that he will be out of contract. Those two things align. Now, does this fit the Lagerwey vision? And I don't know. I don't
think it does.
I think, honestly, it's 50-50 for me. I think you can make a really good argument for it. I think you can make a really good argument against it. I wouldn't hate it. It would take a lot of finessing and a lot of very careful planning of like, okay, you got him. Now everything else. How does this work?
Shit, fucking announcing that.
But I could be sold on it. I really could.
I'm just saying, he scored the first time, and I'm sure you heard the radio highlight call, and Mike Conti's like, and Josef, and score Josef Martinez. Build the statue. 100%. We got 2 statues to build. One is a big, bald motherfucking wall, and the other is a really angry king
Viper.
of the South.
Yeah.
Really and we got to have something. We've got to have a talisman of the culture that we have.
It is important.
That is a very good way of putting it.
We need it.
A talisman of the culture.
As much as we need to improve our conversion on XG, This is lacking. It is lacking, and he has that in buckets.
Well, I said everything that we once were was dead. If you want to revitalize it, if you want to be the phoenix rising from the flames, this is a potential way to do it.
Let Josef act as the defibrillator and just shock us back.
Right. If it works, because I'll tell you one thing, if you bring him back, you better bring him back for good, because you can't bring him back for a 1-year deal and then send him off again.
He needs to finish out here.
You better finish it here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I can't stop. I'm getting all nostalgic about it. I'm feeling a certain way about it. We got to stop.
Yeah. I did a good job selling that, didn't I?
It's the hope that kills you.
It's the hope that kills
you. You are Ted Lassoing this thing. This is too much. We're done.
And with that, I think it's time to go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, because Tottenham's about to play in Europa League, so I've got to go destroy all my hopes and dreams. So
I have to get ready to go to work. 7 p.m. call time tonight in Fayetteville. Let's go. It's gonna be great.
But you know what? I'd rather be working.
Hey, I have a job. I'm very grateful for it in the film industry. And
wait, I lied. Tottenham already won, so I guess I can go to bed happy.
Hey, there you go. Congratulations. Hey, look at this. I can't believe what Atlanta sports teams are doing to me, making me pin everything on Chelsea.
Everything on Chelsea.
Oh my God. All right. Anyhow,
for you.
Thanks everybody for just sticking around this season and trying to remain hopeful, optimistic, but also being real and holding people to account and just saying like how things are and not sugarcoating shit and being real with us on our various socials, but not, I don't think anyone, at least with us and our interactions has gotten ugly or personal, and that's really appreciated, because when you're down like this, it's real easy to get toxic like that. It just is. It lends itself. Tough times lends itself to it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the community built around this pod, around Atlanta United Fan TV, and how it hasn't gotten to that like Moss Eisley scum and villainy point. It's really important, because that's not going to help anything. It's not going to make anything better. It's not going to move the club forward.
Look, the only thing we have left of this club is the community of amazing
community
people
we have
that
built.
Support this club that we all helped to build together.
Together. Braves will be back next year. Right? Yeah, it's fine. Maybe don't pop champagne for sneaking into a wild card spot. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for going to Mason Mill and supporting Fan TV. We really appreciate it. Lord help us. We are going to be back one more time, or maybe 2 more times. We'll see what happens after this now mathematical must win on Saturday against Red Bulls. Like, if we want any semblance, hey, we need a lot of help from other teams. Like, last night was really a must win, but
just let them have it.
Come on in, guys.
Take out a couple of fucking knees. Let me show you I don't even care.
No, I would be fine with us just playing as many of the kids as possible, and
just play the kids. Don't get hurt.
Because so what if everything goes our way and we play 1 or 2 more games? Or 2 more games. It would be 2 more games, best of 3. Who cares?
We don't deserve
that experience will do nothing other than serve the kids well to play in matches like this.
Okay, there's a benefit. Yeah.
Okay.
If we want it for that, sure. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll do what we can against Red Bull.
Anybody with a contract over $150,000 and more than a year, go sit down.
All right. Well, it's been fun. Thank you very much. We'll be back in a few days' time. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back.
Meow, meow, meow.
Mm-hmm.
Meow, meow, meow.
Mm-hmm.
Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah.